Hey everyone, let's dive right into this explainer and discover exactly why probability is the ultimate foundation for understanding uncertainty and making predictions in machine learning. Whether you're a college student just starting out, a budding data scientist, or honestly just someone fascinated by how artificial intelligence actually makes decisions, you are in the exact right place. We're going to completely strip away the complex mathematical jargon today. Instead, we'll look at how computers understand our messy, unpredictable world, operating entirely on a mathematical scale from 0 to 1. So, grab a mental notebook and let's get into it.
We've got a fantastic roadmap for today. We're going to start with the foundation of uncertainty, then move into Bayesian decision theory, look at modeling with distributions, tackle the bias-variance trade-off, and finally, finish up with ethical bias in AI. All right, kicking things off with Section 1, the foundation of uncertainty. So, we really have to ask ourselves, without hard, fast rules, how do computers actually make decisions when the future is just inherently uncertain? Think about a self-driving car trying to predict if a pedestrian is going to step into the street, or an algorithm guessing if an incoming email is spam, or even an app predicting if it'll rain tomorrow based on weather patterns. The computer can never be 100% certain, right? Instead, it has to measure the likelihood of different outcomes. It essentially operates in this gray area of maybe, likely, and almost impossible.
Take a look at this brilliant quote from our source material. It perfectly highlights that we literally cannot build predictive models without first measuring uncertainty. Probability is, for all intents and purposes, the language of predictive models. It's the exact mathematical tool we use to quantify just how uncertain we are about something. If you want to understand machine learning, you have to realize it's not about absolute truths. It's about educated guesses backed up by massive, massive amounts of data.
Let's bring this down to earth. Think of it this way. Just like predicting if a coin toss will be heads or tails based on a probability parameter, algorithms predict outcomes based on data. If we run a simple experiment and flip a fair coin, we know the sample space, which is just the set of all possible outcomes, is exactly 2, a 50% chance of heads and a 50% chance of tails. In statistics, we might call the probability of getting heads our parameter, p0. If we know p0 is 0.5, well, our best guess is a toss-up. But if we discover it's a weighted trick coin where p0 is 0.8, we're definitely going to predict heads. Machine learning is really just doing this exact same thing, but on a massive scale, finding those hidden parameters in everyday data. So, the crucial point here is how we talk to the computer. We use what's called a random variable to mathematically represent these uncertain real-world events. Instead of typing out the coin landed on heads, we just say x equals 1. If it's tails, x equals 0. By turning real-world events into numbers, like say whether a patient has a specific disease or whether a customer will click on an ad, we give the computer a tangible way to calculate the odds. It's literally the bridge between human reality and machine mathematics.
Moving on along to Section 2, Bayesian decision theory.
The first piece of this puzzle is the prior probability, which is essentially what we know before we even look at any new data. Imagine you're a teacher for a second. Before grading a test, you might know that historically about 80% of students pass this specific exam. That 80%, that's your prior probability. It's your baseline assumption based entirely on past experience, way before you've looked at any new evidence.
Next up is the class likelihood, which tells us exactly what our observed data says regarding a specific class or category. Going back to our teacher analogy, let's say you notice a specific student hasn't attended any lectures all semester. The class likelihood evaluates conditional probability. It asks, what is the probability of a student missing all their lectures given that they are in the group of students who pass? It's evaluating the new evidence, the lack of attendance, against our known categories of passing or failing.
Now for the really cool part. By combining the prior and the likelihood, we get the posterior probability. This is our updated understanding after seeing the evidence. Bayes' theorem is pure magic for machine learning. It takes our initial belief, mixes in the new data we just observed, and spits out an updated, much smarter belief. This is exactly how spam filters work, by the way. They start with a baseline probability that an email is spam. They see the word free or lottery, and then they update that probability to be much, much higher.
It's super important to understand this difference. The prior is our initial assumption, while the posterior is our updated, data-driven conclusion. A really common mistake beginners make is clinging only to the prior or only to the new data, while totally ignoring the sample space and baseline odds. Bayes' rule teaches us to balance both. For example, you wouldn't diagnose a super rare medical condition based solely on a single positive test result, right? not without considering how rare the disease actually is in the general population first. The base rate matters immensely.
Let's put it all together. When an algorithm assesses credit risk at a bank, it observes things like income and savings, calculates the posterior probability, and simply chooses the class with the highest probability. This is Bayesian decision theory in action. The bank wants to know what is the probability this specific person is high risk given their current income and savings. The computer runs the math, compares the probability of high risk versus low risk, and just picks the one that is mathematically more likely. It's highly practical, everyday AI.
Okay, Section 3, Modeling with Distributions.
So machine learning models often use these parametric methods, like the normal or Gaussian distribution, to map out the shape of the data and estimate probabilities. If you've ever seen a bell curve, you've seen a normal distribution. It shows up absolutely everywhere, in human heights, test scores, even errors in measurements. Algorithms naturally assume the data follows one of these known shapes. If it's a simple yes or no question, like our coin toss, it uses a Bernoulli distribution. If there are multiple independent categories, it jumps to a multinomial distribution. Assuming a shape up front makes the math so much faster and easier for the computer.
Which brings us to Section 4, the bias-variance trade-off. But hey, we really have to ask ourselves, what if the distributions we choose don't actually match the messy reality of our data? What if we assume our data looks like a perfect bell curve, but in reality, it's just scattered all over the place? When our model's assumptions don't align with the real world, we get errors. And in machine learning, these errors generally fall into two competing camps. This creates a massive tug-of-war between bias, where a simple model completely misses the true structure of the data, and variance, where a complex model is way too sensitive to random noise. Imagine you're studying for a test. If you barely study and just assume every answer is going to be C, you have high bias. You oversimplified the problem and underfitted the material. On the flip side, if you memorize the textbook word for word, literally including the typos, you have high variance. You'll fail if the test asks a slightly different question because you were way too sensitive to the noise. Machine learning algorithms are constantly trying to find that perfect sweet spot right in the middle of these two extremes.
To balance this trade-off, algorithms like decision trees and random forests break down data by asking a series of questions, which captures complex relationships while managing noise. Think of it like a giant game of 20 questions. Is the customer's income over $50,000? Yes. Do they have a mortgage? No. Now, a single decision tree might have high variance and memorize the data a bit too well, but powerful ensemble methods like random forest or XGBoost combine hundreds of these trees together, averaging out their predictions to keep both the bias and the variance super low. It's incredibly effective for complex, nonlinear data.
Finally, let's head into Section 5, Ethical Bias in AI. Now we're getting into the human element. Human prejudices embedded in training data can lead to heavily discriminatory machine learning predictions. We've talked a lot about statistical bias, where a model is mathematically too simple, but right here we are talking about societal bias. Consider facial recognition systems that misclassify people of color, or automated recruitment tools that unfairly penalize female applicants. The algorithm itself, it's just doing math. It's optimizing probabilities based on the data we feed it. But if that data reflects historical inequalities, the machine is going to learn, replicate, and even amplify those inequalities. This is a crucial conversation happening across the tech world right now. These ethical challenges usually pop up in three main ways: unrepresentative data, biased algorithmic design, or the misapplication of the model itself. If a healthcare AI is trained mostly on data from one specific demographic, it will naturally underperform for everyone else. That's data bias. Algorithmic bias might happen if we optimize purely for overall accuracy, completely ignoring how the model performs on minority groups. And application bias occurs when an AI system is deployed in a real-world context it was never originally designed for. Because many of these models act as opaque black boxes, the industry is now strongly pushing for ethical frameworks centered around fairness, transparency, and accountability. Honestly, it's no longer enough for an algorithm to just be accurate. We need explainable AI. We have to be able to look under the hood and understand exactly why a model made a specific prediction, especially when it comes to high-stakes areas like lending, criminal justice, or healthcare. Without transparency, it's incredibly difficult to maintain any real accountability. I want to leave you with this thought today. If our algorithms simply reflect the data we feed them, what probability are we giving our future? Probability isn't just about the math, it's about the assumptions we encode into the very systems that will eventually run our world. Keep practicing these concepts, look for the probabilities in your everyday life, and remember that mastering the basics of uncertainty is your first step towards building intelligent, responsible technology. Thanks for joining me on this explainer.